Welcome to this new Smart Talk. Today we're in a very unique place, a music studio, and we meet Artemi. We will talk about music industry, the trends, the shifts, and what we can expect in the future. Let's start. Artemi, we're here in Hannah Road Studio. Just tell us, it's amazing, really crazy.
Thank you.
Tell us the story behind that.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Artemi. I'm the general manager of the Hannah Road Studios. Well, a little bit about our studio is it was founded over 10 years ago actually, but before it was a small studio located. It's actually located in the center of Montreux, in a J5 hotels.
Yeah.
Previously known as Hotel LVC, still known as. And it was located in one small room here. That's how it all started here with the
Same spot here, but only one room?
No, actually, it started off in I think of one of the like small kind of like technical rooms of the hotel, and then well, there was a need obviously to get a bit bigger, and I came to the company over 5 years ago, and over 4 years ago actually, and then that's where we started changing things for a bit of a a bigger scene because well, I saw the potential of where the studio can go, and where like what's missing here locally in Switzerland as a market, that I saw like a certain niche, even though like let's say recording studios are not really like a very new thing. Definitely, I mean, even if you Google Trends, like you see the trend of the Google search recording studios going down, like really down.
Okay.
But then so we had to make something that was exclusive, but still like, so when for the people that actually needed, there was something that's going to be like, okay, wow, that's the thing, and I want to go there.
Yeah.
So we started developing the studio.
Why Montreux?
Why Montreux?
Yeah, because of the jazz of Freddie Mercury. I don't know. Is there?
Actually, that's actually a good question for me. That was in general, I think personally for me, it's a very it's not like in a center like Geneva or Zurich or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Zurich already has its own scene, and it's a little bit different. I grew up in this French-speaking part, so for me, Switzerland, the way I feel it and the way I see it is the French, is the Swiss Romandie. So it has a lot of like actually a lot of people passing by here from the music industry. Yeah. Obviously, dating historically back to the Montreux Jazz Festival, but there's a lot of people that come in and come by from and around Geneva, and then there's a lot of local artists and local projects that are here. So we're not only a studio, we're an audiovisual production company, we're equipment rental company, we're a music label. So that's the music label was founded 4 years ago, and we started working in many different directions, because two things: you cannot work in one sphere, in one area, just like you cannot just be a recording studio in Switzerland and really survive. Yeah, and actually really survive.
Okay.
You cannot just be a recording studio here. You cannot just be doing one thing and actually make enough profit to have it sustainable. So we had to open up many other directions and kind of expand let's say the revenue sources, but also the services, because in any case they ping pong back. So like 2 years ago we opened the other side of our facilities, a video recording studio. Like it's not a huge one, it's not a hangar, but it's still enough for people to shoot their social media.
So you mean that local artists love to having one touch point where they can do everything?
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, the one touch point was the idea, exactly the way you said it, because we realized, okay, they're coming to one place, but then we know for sure, let's say usually the cycle, a person needs a studio to let's say to write a song, well, maybe a producer. So first they produce the song, then they need a studio that is going to mix their song and master their song. That's something that we already provide everything in here from A to Z. After they have the song done, they want to do like a music video, and they want to do some maybe acoustic sessions, some other material. So they want to shoot something, they want to shoot content, because they want to promote it like the way musician promotes it is purely with content, And
so yeah, it's a holistic approach of the business. But do local artists, like new artists, realize when they start, because they're just singing or doing their song, do they realize how many things they have to think about after when it's ready?
I don't think that they're. And it's not only the problem in Switzerland, but I think the problem in general is that they don't realize the amount of work they have to do. Before, it was kind of like let's say the labels were doing more work for artists than the artists. Right now, if you're not interesting on social media, if people don't follow you,
Yeah.
like a label cannot do that for you. A label cannot shoot a story for you. A label cannot like put themselves and do a TikTok for you. A label right now is a multiplier. It's a but if you're like a zero, you can and you multiply by a 10,
Yeah.
you're
So it
still
means
be
that,
zero.
before labels were finding artists, roots artists, and now they're expecting the artists already have done something in terms of marketing and get to.
and like the major labels, they have even tools. For example, like as you may know, like major labels have certain stakes in companies like Spotify. They have certain deals because they gave their catalog, and they're like, okay, we give you the catalog. That means that you will give us, like, I mean, I'm talking about like Sony, Warner, and we're actually part of Warner Music for distribution.
Okay.
So we're distributed through Warner Music worldwide here. So any artist that works with us and any artist we publish or sign, we actually then have direct deals with. We have a direct deal with Warner Music, so then they can also help us distribute and market the songs
huge.
per
How
per
hard is it
territories.
when you open a studio to get this networking that is
Impossible.
vital?
Impossible. I would say it's on the level of impossible, but if it's
You did it.
yeah, we did it, but I mean it's sweat and blood, in a way to do it. So that's why, like, if an artist works with us,
Yeah.
they kind of already don't need to go through that step, in a way. So that's like they already can have a certain
It's a huge
certain like worldwide opportunity, let's say. Then as we were saying about like Spotify and all those major labels having a big stake in that, and that's why it's important to be a part of the distribution channel with those, because let's say you have a new single and it's coming out on a New Music Friday, Warner Music can be like, well, guys, Spotify put us on the New Music Friday playlist. I mean, they can't like force, but they can suggest, and and they have a certain amount of catalog that they will be presented on top. They
Okay.
have a higher payout rate.
Yeah.
YouTube pays higher. Like our YouTube channel, actually quite it's one of the most viewed channels. We have like over 40 million views,
Wow.
or 38, I don't know, 37, 30, maybe over 40 already in Switzerland, and our payout rate is higher than it would be like just running a channel ourselves. So you have a Warner Music network, and then it would also recommend, let's say if you're watching a Sheeran's video, he's part of Warner Music, then the next video could be ours. It's like the algorithm would work within the network of Warner Music.
Yeah.
So we have those kind of benefits, but Spotify and all of them, they really control the industry in general. And there are many problems in Switzerland, and people, of course, they cannot be educated on how to run things.
Yeah. But is that a good side, good point, or bad points, or sad point that one major, a brand leads the industry and has a huge power on that? Is it like a pity for music, or
It
it's
depends.
amazing because it's giving a chance to to
It
be
depends on which side you're on. If you're like, let's say,
An artist.
if you're a friend of the CEO of Spotify, then you're pretty chill about it, because then then you can do whatever.
Yeah.
And so coming back to the previous question, the major companies, they have algorithms that see like that artists, like you said, they don't want to now take an artist from zero and start developing it. They want already somebody, and they have those algorithms saying, because they're joined with, like, they have the APIs from all of the Spotify and all of these companies. So they see if there is like a track that emerged right now, like just by itself, naturally, people like it a lot. They see it, okay, there is like an artist unsigned with like, I don't know, 1 million streams right now. Boom, they contact, they sign him. So he already has something done. It's not like they go scouting now to bars and like back in the day.
Didn't we lose something? To be
Oh,
honest, I mean, does technology algorithms, all those KPIs,
I
or
think-
just like putting back music to a business rather than being
We
an
lost
art,
the soul in the music, definitely. In many cases, I'm not saying, of course, like there are great musicians out there, but I see that a lot of musicians become like a lot of musicians, artists, I would even say, because not many musicians now not many artists are musicians now. You can have a TikToker doing some stuff, and nothing bad about TikTokers. It's just you can have people that actually have nothing to do with music, like, why not? I'm just gonna release a song, So that kind of like algorithmic approach definitely first pushes the artist. They have to do something first. They have to already make it to a certain level. They have to make the first baby steps. Nobody's going to make them for them, and they will still have to make those steps, and the labels are just going to amplify it using their data, using the investments, labels still fund the projects. I mean, and it's really good to have there's a lot of people against the labels funding and stuff like this. Can't agree.
Why do we? I mean, I have the feeling that we have more very short-term career artists today in our generation rather than Madonnas or Michael Jacksons. You know, is that linked to the process?
That was linked
changed?
to your previous question.
Yeah.
That was linked to your previous question. That's actually like that. It because we kind of lost this. It's all about the data, and like it's kind of like, okay, this guy popped right now on because Spotify's algorithm picked it up. For example, they're gonna sign him. They're gonna invest in him. They're gonna really promote that one song, and then, but in reality, it's not as deep. To really be carried in that huge like there's probably never gonna be like, or maybe not as often, like artists like Prince or like Michael Jackson, or like to really like when to that size. Obviously they're huge artists like Ariana Grande or like Maluma or other guys. They're huge, undeniably. They still fill stadiums and stuff, but I'm not sure that they can ever be on the same scale, just because there's way more competition as well.
Yeah.
So like the fan base really gets divided. You have a lot of competition nowadays.
So it's way easier for artists to be known, of course.
To release music.
Yeah, to release music.
Not maybe.
But it's harder to make a career.
It's harder to make a career for sure. In like, for example, like the royalty payouts, right? You have 100. Let's say if you take 100%, only 10%. The 10% of this 100% of people, 10%, they take 90% of royalties. Like, and only 1% is making like above $100,000.
So the only way to make money is to do tours.
But to do tours, you need to be known. You know.
Of course, yeah.
So then, who's gonna book the tours? I mean, because doing a tour is an expensive endeavor. You know, you have to you have to market the tour, you have to get the people, you have to get the crew, you have to get everything. You know.
Yeah.
So you first have to kind of get at least one song to kind of like pop and like be at least on some level. You can do a tour as a warm-up artist with like a bigger artist, to get yourself promoted, but it won't be your sole tour like with your album or whatever, you know. And right now you don't even release albums.
Yeah.
You release single by single because there's not going to be enough. When let's say if your album comes out, you have New Music Friday. They're not going to be putting a whole album there. You have to select one song, so the rest of the songs will be kind of like unseen. So that's why a lot of artists post song like track by track, and nowadays it's monthly listeners.
Yeah.
So you get to you have to release almost like every month to keep the algorithm going, because if you stop releasing every month, like you'll kind of like lose the data, and you'll have you'll be put in a lower tier algorithm wise.
So
like
you have to be a marketing expert before being an artist.
You have to be a huge. I mean, I probably any business right now has to be so much more involved in the marketing because. I think I can't think of a business that's not really affected by the international and the globalization thing, because you get with internet, like you see all like the local like clothes shop, like lots of clothing shops close down, electronic stores close down because okay, you got now like Amazon, okay, maybe like not really in Switzerland, but you can still like deliver from them here. You got all of those huge international companies like Farfetch competing with like a small local store. So unless this local store is able to provide something of a much higher value, then that's a problem. And you have to be a marketing expert to understand that in a way, or at least have somebody on the team that's going to understand that, and they'll have to listen to him. So
talking about skills, what's your background? Because when I entered the studio, just like so many buttons. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Technically, it's huge. I mean, you have to be an expert in sound, in lighting, in music. I mean, you have a team, of course. You're not doing it. But I mean, what's your background? How did you dive in music?
Okay, so my background in music actually starts from a very young age, because my family initially is from a music industry, and so I kind of like knew, let's say, the ins and outs of the I'd say the music business itself quite well, on I would say a certain level that you probably don't get at this age. But in terms of like education, I initially started I learned computer science, and then I did also a bachelor in business management, and then I did my third bachelor in sound production and music production, sound design. So I'm an audio engineer as well, and actually the latest iteration of the studio is part of also like my design with the team. So we've done the whole like everything by hand here, like ourselves. We didn't have people hiring like even electricity, things like things like soldering here, like cables, the XLR cables. That's all done by our team, So we learn on the go.
Okay, you obviously travel a lot. You saw a lot of countries. How do you see music in Switzerland? I mean, what's your point of view on that?
I think the music in Switzerland, you can have like A markets, B markets.
No,
and that? like an A market is the one kind of like that's a primary market for an industry. Like it's a huge market. I would say an A market is USA, Germany, Japan, Korea. Then B market will probably be something like I don't know, Russia, maybe Italy. Like there are smaller countries that like they're not like that huge in terms of the percentage of the global industry share. But then you have Switzerland, that's a C market. That's like, it's not because of the size, because it's because the way the I think the mindset, and it's more on a like actually a governmental issue, that there's so much music imported here. Check it out. Check out the new
How
Music
can you
Friday.
stop that? It's impossible to stop importation of music.
You can have certain regulations imposed on the streaming platforms. For example, you have New Music Friday Switzerland. It's a tiny playlist. It's not like it's going to break a career of an artist if he gets placed there or something.
Yeah.
But you take New Music Friday Switzerland, which is like a Swiss playlist dedicated for our country, and you have there only 2 Swiss artists there. Then you have 70% US or like 60% US tracks on it. You have 30% like UK tracks on it. Then you have like some French tracks on it, some German tracks, and then you have like 1 or 2 Swiss tracks. Don't they have to keep it in Swiss music? I mean, New Music Friday Germany or something, or have a certain ratio of this, and that happens with every certain every single platform out there. Then if you go on YouTube trending right now, and in music, on the music section, which country do you think, what kind of music is trending? Have you ever done that, just out of interest?
No, I didn't, but probably USA.
No. Albania.
You kidding?
80
Okay.
Albanian music is huge. It's huge. It's on the rise, and that means that lots of people, because there's a big Albanian community here and the big Balkan community. So if you go like today after our talk, and just out of interest on your computer type in like YouTube, and then you go Switzerland top 100 trending videos, you will not even find maybe 2 or 3 American videos. But good, if you find a Swiss video, please send it to me. I'm curious to see what it is. So the problem is,
it starts there.
And because of the amount of people and the way the algorithm works. Another problem that Switzerland has with the algo, let's say on Instagram, why do Swiss influencers in general are considered already big if you have somebody like 10,000 followers? You know, in some countries it's not even a grain of salt in in a bucket. Like it's kind of almost funny, but locally it's considered big, because let's say you get a top post, you get a post on Instagram, and you get in the country's top, well, you don't have as many people to see it, so it's not going to go further. It's going to be limited to the population of Switzerland, and also there is a lot of elderly people that don't really use and they should use. My grandma 85, she's oh sorry grandma, you're not 85, you're younger. Younger than that. No, I my mistake, sorry grandma. No, so
I did that.
So she's using Instagram. She's actively using Telegram, Instagram, even she has a TikTok account. She doesn't do anything on TikTok, but she uses. She's very up to date, so she's she wants to be up to date. And I think that many people here living, maybe they're afraid to try it, because I'm not saying they have to watch all because there's a lot of crap out there as well, but they don't have to watch it there. But they can just go in. There's certain fields of interest. And the problem is algorithmically here, like if you get a top song in USA, or a top post in USA, the way the algorithm works is going to kind of like then go into like the global explore page, and then people will find. In Switzerland, there's not enough to generate that. So we're kind of like already, like, just by the way those platforms work, and they're like the main platforms right now, they basically limit local people, local like Swiss people, to kind of rise and compete against. So in a way, it's almost like unfair practice.
Yeah,
they're not on the same
page. Is
there
also kind of a mindset difference in Switzerland in terms of we don't like the starification, less than in other countries who would like to have stars, and we put them on the top of the.
Once I talked with one media paper here. I'm not gonna say the name, just not to put them in a bad situation. But I discussed, like in US they have this kind of Kim Kardashian style, kind of like, okay, he's going out with this, let's do a story, let's do something here where we can follow like a certain celebrity, and we do like a story like this, and we can really make something for like the local people, like kind of like have that. Maybe it's not the most intellectual content that people need, but it's still kind of content that then will generate income from advertisement. It will create local kind of local movement in that area, and they were very much against. So not against to try, because they were like, no, it's not like how we do. But you've never tried.
Yeah.
You know, you tried and you say it didn't work. Then it's okay. Then point closed. You know,
Yeah.
so, and it's a huge problem like this. I think also with like the tax we have here for the TV, or what do we have for the like their funds, their government funds. Do you know that there are huge funds for movies here?
I
Have
didn't
you
know.
seen?
No.
Yeah, me too. I've never seen one movie here like kind of locally produced. So they're like their government funds going like left and right for movie productions here and stuff. But in the end, it's nothing is being produced. They want to keep the Netflix funds right now. There's a law like we want to keep that Netflix 10% something. It's a good idea, great. But I think the Netflix should decide where and to whom to give, because like this they can actually control the quality.
Yeah.
Because if the budget is just going like left and right,
Yeah.
there's nothing produced, then like the whole incentive of the tax to support, we are in the media industry, and I do not support this tax, because I think it kills the incentive to make a great product and live from like advertisement. And actually, because if we would be sponsored by the government, I'm not sure that we would be even motivated to go further and build like the studio that it is right now, or and develop our services and find ways where like you think it's impossible, but in the end it becomes very possible.
You talked about movies. Let's talk about video, music videos.
Yeah.
How important it is today. You cannot have music or song without a video, right?
Pretty much, yeah, because the thing is you'll be missing out. Like if you're an artist, and let's say music video, we can also say a lyric video and a visualizer. But without visual content, you'll just be putting yourself at even a greater disadvantage, because you're like as a starting musician, you're basically getting a song out there. There's 60,000 songs or 45,000 songs placed on Spotify per day. So like you gotta be really special with the song. And like you also have to have, even if you have the greatest hit right now, it doesn't mean you get it like listened to. It doesn't get because you can just get lost in all of this traffic. So you need to maximize your exposure. So if you don't have the visual content, two things are gonna, like, that's not only social media, but YouTube. You're gonna miss out on YouTube big time. And YouTube is a huge platform for artists that doesn't, like, I think every artist should make their YouTube channel and should grow their YouTube channel as well. They have to find a way where people, in the end of the day, you follow people. You don't follow like kind of like a brand or something in the way as much as you would follow a person. Like, so if they open up, if they're charismatic and they work on that socials, and if they see them in the music video, they also get that part of charisma. You know, they want to build their image through the music video. So music videos are super important, and even if it doesn't have to be an expensive one. It doesn't.
What are the trends? Yeah, well,
you know, like it's the same. You know, there are movies like Paranormal Activity that were shot like for $10,000 and made like 30 million, I don't know, in revenue or whatever, because of just the idea. So you can just have a very basic concept. But as long as it's just gonna be captivating and it's gonna show your if you don't have a budget for a music video, use your personality. Be yourself. Even if you're just there in the bedroom, it will be way more engaging for users to discover your song, to discover you and follow you for a long time. So lots of people like, I'll release a song, I don't have budget now for a music video, but you have a phone, right? Yeah, you do. You have a camera there. Yeah, you can already make something from there.
That's true.
So it's just a question of...
What would you recommend to a local artist, you know, unknown, who wrote a couple of songs and said, yeah, maybe it's time to record something? Do I have the budget? How much it costs? What are the processes? What would you like recommend to hold the hand of a new artist and take him through the process?
I think basically two things is education. Not like necessarily music education, which also helps in general to save time in the studio. So obviously long run save budget, improve quality and stuff. But it's about education of actually in general of the next steps, because sometimes they are rushing like, okay, I just got this song, I'm gonna write this song. Okay, they got it. Then they put it out the next day without understanding that you just wasted your budget on the recording. You just wasted the whole song. It's out there. It's lost in the algo. Boom, bye bye. So like the thing is, they have to be educated about the industry in all aspects of fields, like from A to Z, because let's say, are they ready? Like, think about it. There's so many people coming to do, they have no idea about live performance. They don't practice live. They don't know what to do. Imagine their song blows up tomorrow. They release something today, it blows up, and tomorrow they get a call, hey, we want you to perform at like O2 Arena. Is he ready? Does he have a team? Does he know what to do? No.
Does it really happen? Yeah. It happens sometimes?
I mean, let's say I pretty much I think it could have happened to the guy, you know, like, I'm in love with the Coco, you know, just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, then you know what you get. Then in that case, you would get certain sharks from the industry throwing a contract at them. They'll be signing whatever. They'll be then they will be upset at the labels. They'll be upset at the producers. They'll be upset at like all the companies around that they threw them a bad deal and everybody's so evil. Well, you accepted that deal because you had nothing else to offer.
Do you teach a little bit this industry also to youngsters, or
We were like we were thinking to do some sort of master classes in different areas, even starting from like, you know, for masterclass for productions, master classes for like the industry. But the problem is that it's a very time consuming like experience, I would say. So that as much as we would love to do it, we're not sure with whether we have the capacity to do, because we're like booked every day, almost every day. We're working here already almost every weekend, almost day and night. We don't even like
there's so many artists here who wants to record.
There's a lot of because the thing is, you have one artist, for example, but let's say he wants to one artist here and they want to record a song or an album. Let's say each song can take up to 1 day to record. You have 8 songs to record. You have 8 days to record. Then you need to mix and master them, produce them, or songwrite them. So you would spend just with one artist already maybe 15-20 days of work.
So education is a really important part in music, because as you said, there's a lot of people getting lost out there, and especially if you have the fast success, then they got burned or
lots of people give up if they do 1 or 2 songs, not understanding that if you look at any history of an artist, like I don't know, any artist, you take Weeknd, you think Weeknd is huge now. Do you think he got like 1 song out and then he became huge? He was working for years to get that. You have to get contacts, you have to evolve, you have to work. Your first song is probably never going to be great. It's going to be probably crap.
Yeah. But I mean, there's education, as you said, role. I don't know who has to teach that, you know. But we definitely need to give more sensitive to youngster about that. That's
for sure. That's something that we hope to achieve and do, in like, because we just rolled out a few more other services, and that's something that we're right now, I would say 120% capacity, like, you know, overloaded. So as soon as and that also comes to optimization, like, you know, when you roll out new services, they're not yet optimized internally. They're optimized for the client, but internally the processes are a little bit maybe chaotic in some ways, and that once things get optimized, we might have the time.
But you do it already one-to-one when artists come here.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually something, even when we record, we don't just hit the record button. We actually produce the artist. We produce the vocal. We want it to be as successful as possible. Even if the artists, we have different levels of artists. We have artists that are just maybe trying out, that they're not that, I would say, yet you know, didn't develop as much yet, and we would help them to achieve a better plank, like to actually get to that next level. And we have many arts, like, and all our clients stay with us for a very long time, and we give them a lot of different we give them a lot of different, let's say, advices. We help them out in ways, like we try, because whatever comes out of here is going to be our success as well. That's our, like, I would say, core philosophy, that whatever comes out of here in general, we want to be as much happy as a client. It's
and word of mouth also in this industry is very important.
Exactly. So like that's actually pretty much how the studio like blew up in the first place. We did, like, I think in total our like online advertising budget was, and it was only when we rolled out new services, maybe like less than 1,000
Apparently
francs.
You don't need, huh?
less than 1,000 francs in general. Like in total, if you continue Instagram, Facebook, everything, it was very very small initially. I mean, it wasn't always like that, but the word of mouth, it was kind of exponential, you know, the growth. So at first we thought, okay, there was some growth, but we wanted more. We wanted more growth.
It's great talking about that, because we talked about this morning with Simon. It was like word of mouth at the age of social media, Facebook ads, etc. It's still the best channel.
Yeah, I mean, in general,
really?
we get the most loyal clients that come, and the most loyal artists that come. When I'm referring to clients, it's to other, like, let's say, equipment rental or anything like that. Artists, the artists that come here, they're not clients, they're artists. You know, so the when like artists or other clients, when they come, they actually get they're the most loyal when they come word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know, like if we
Makes sense.
that often happens with us,
Yeah.
not all the time, but
Yeah.
sometimes through advertisement they come like one time, two times, and because they came from another canton, it's too far for them to come. That's our limitation here. Is the just we cannot be centered or close to everyone. You know, there are
Yeah.
people working, like a lot of musicians here, even like you have musicians like Low and Leduc and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like you know the from here, they're still working. They cannot have a full like career, like, and just okay, now I'm gonna be chilling.
No,
now.
of course not. Yeah.
So they have to.
Hey, during the Montreux Jazz, do you have any interaction with artists with the
Oh
studio?
yeah,
Yeah?
of course. We had artists like we actually also do. We work with Montreux Jazz very often with them. Like for example, last year we've done for their shows we were doing the mixes. So they, for example, they have because they have the streaming of this, and it's not a super direct live streaming. There is a 9-hour delay. And during this 9-hour delay, we had to mix the sound for them.
Okay.
So we had to stay. We would receive the sound at 10 in the evening, and I was actually the one like doing the mix. And then like to 10 in the evening, we receive, and then we have to give it 9 in the morning already done to them, so that they can like put it live stream and like
Wow.
stitch it with it, because then
That's
they would
cool.
be editing their video part, and in
Yeah.
the same time we're doing the
Yeah,
audio,
yeah.
and then none of
That's
us are
amazing.
sleeping, and then the 9 in the morning we give.
Easy question. What's the trend in music?
Okay. Okay.
No, it's not an easy question, but I mean, what's your perspective on that? Where's music going in the next 10 years? What do you think?
Actually, I think it's still going to develop. I think right now, obviously, there is like not all the countries are still like kind of like fully developed with the streaming platform and stuff, but it's touching the ceiling in many countries. Like the Netflix is touching the ceiling. It cannot grow any more
Yeah.
like subscribers. Then the company has to innovate. So I think it's going to be the same with the streaming platforms. They will have to innovate in two ways, because first of all, I think the way the music in general for the artists is going to be better, maybe, and I hope, is the blockchain will help to collect royalties. One of the crazy things we have right now is that let's say you have when you have your song on YouTube,
Yeah.
you have the master rights, you have the publishing rights. So the master rights and like all they're going to be collected by the label, by the distributor, or like by you. Then you'll get some monetization from YouTube. But like the publishing rights from using like your songs on streaming and stuff, they first come to like organizations like Suiza, they come to other like companies, and it takes years to collect.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it takes years to collect. You have the song, you have the ISRC code, there are all the metadata in the tracks, and you have to then chase around your tracks. For example, we had tracks playing at I don't know, in the TF1 La Tour, and was it La Villa Cœur Brisé or some stuff like this, and then in Italian like national channels and stuff, and then I have to call the society in Italy and say, hey guys, like our song was played there. First of all, nobody really cleared the rights. Second of all, you have like where is our like royalty from that? They're like, oh, can you give us the when it was? So if you don't catch it yourself, kind of sometimes or you have to have partners that would do it, and then they would take obviously like 20-30% for that individually. So your royalties end up like you know, from maybe 1 franc, because you receive like, let's say, less than like 10, I don't know, 0.001, and you then divide it by all the companies.
So blockchain could be a solution also for that.
For the digital,
Yeah.
like to manage digital rights, you can
Yeah.
literally have, let's say, your own let's say personal kind of account that's like literally you cut out the middleman in this game. You cut out all the publishers, all the that they would really, it would really save a lot of money and increase the publishing revenue maybe by 40, 50, or even 100%.
Yeah.
So that could really be a huge game.
What
in
about
transparency?
NFTs in music?
NFTs? I
Yeah.
think in general, honestly, my opinion about NFTs is that the speed at and we are actually we're also we're producing as a company, because we have a CGI and a 3D department, so we do a lot of like 3D animations, and we produce different kind of produce NFTs and stuff, and so we also do that. But my personal feeling about the NFTs is that I'm not sure how long term it is. Just yesterday I was checking the if you go on Google Trends and you write NFT,
It went down. I'm crazy.
it went down like crazy.
Crazy.
It went up like in 2 months, and the
Yeah.
same goes with metaverse and all the other stuff. And it went down like crazy. The idea of NFTs is nothing new. Like, I'm a computer gamer. Like, you have a skin, I don't know, in Counter-Strike or whatever. It's kind of like your NFT. It doesn't matter. But it's not like, I understand the concept of digital art and having, but it's just the amount of this art like produced, and kind of like it's gonna get to a point where okay, all the 1%, all the billionaires, all the rich guys, they had fun with it. They bought stuff. They already have NFTs there, but then it's gonna get to a point where no other people will buy. And
Yeah,
we already see like
agree.
articles. Guy just got an NFT for $1 million, and then he's not gonna get he can't sell it because the highest bid he has is like 5,000 or something. So he just lost like $1 million on a JPEG. So like, I mean, you can. I personally don't believe in longevity of these things.
Yeah.
As much as you can compare it to art, and by no way am I discriminating or undervaluing digital art. There are amazing digital artists out there, but then you have like those people that are just like making collections, stamping like just different pictures and like calling it a collection, and they're overflooding the market with all of this. So it becomes there's too much supply of NFTs right now versus the amount of people. So the value initially will just go down because of the supply and demand.
Okay, we're gonna step out from the music industry, enter the human industry. No, I'm
Human
kidding.
industry.
No, I would like to ask you a question based on your experience, on your background, on your different countries where you lived, etc. From a human standpoint, what's important in life for you?
I think just being kind. Kindness, no joke. Like kindness,
Okay.
I think, because that was actually the first when we were hiring in the company. It's not about the CV. Like I receive lots of CVs and stuff. I receive lots of CVs like, hey, do you hire and stuff? And I'm not really interested in the CV at all, as much as I want to see like the approach. So it's energy and it's just pure kindness. Because if you know that like somebody is not an asshole, if I may say this on
No, you
the
may.
podcast, sorry about that. But if somebody's not an asshole, then you kind of can already trust you can already have some trust. You can trust with many, and you can trust that the person will develop, even if he doesn't yet have the skills.
Yeah.
Talent is important in our business for sure. You have to be talented, but it doesn't mean you have to be super skilled at this right now. So if it's just having like nice people around you, if you have nice people around you, you will be comfortable working. And as we are working here, like as I said, 120% capacity, and no one's an asshole about it. Everybody's happy to come back and work another 12, 13 hours and have 3-4 hours of sleep sometimes.
Do you feel that in today's economy and world, let's say, I mean, business became very demanding and the skills are very technical, etc. Are we spending, from your standpoint, are we spending too much time in building our abilities and competencies and skills, but not enough on ourselves? You know?
Oh, I think in general, like I think in general a little bit, there is like the values. I would say the core values of people have been kind of shadowed by I would say social media once again, because a lot of like you. It's like this huge illusion has been placed on on the younger generation that think they know everything, but they don't know actually anything. And they actually look at social media. They think they're aware. They think they are informed and stuff, but they don't know that, like, they don't understand the bigger picture. That they don't. I really have trouble finding like lots of young people with like skills, like in general, but like also human kind of skills and the values they have. They want to, like, they kind of want to just post something on Instagram just to look cool. Just for what? Actually, I don't understand. In the end of the day, and values. The human values in general have been quite lost, and I'm in general for humanity very concerned for the future
Yeah.
because of because there's going to be a huge lack of jobs.
Because those values, I mean, you get them through life experience, of course, but basically through education. And the problem is that the full generation lost that. How they will, you know?
There's also a problem with education, because I think the education is not really up to date in a way with what's happening in the trends are going. There are definitely some educational institutions that are like really up to date, but like I'm talking about 1%. In majority of cases, people are still, let's say, forced to memorize some stuff or whatever,
useless.
like kind of like in a way useless. I remember in school I had to calculate the weight of the sun by looking at the telescope some angle, and like calculate the mass of a star. Like, why would I ever want to do
I have
that?
an iPhone.
Exactly, I have an iPhone. But, I mean, you still have to know the basic principles. Not saying you don't have. You still have to explore as a child. So maybe you'll go into astronomy. Yeah. But the way the system should be built is a step by step, and kind of recognizing the passions of, and it's a hard job to do because we are all different. So kind of finding from the first grades, okay, this guy's more into like mathematics, more into we'll give him still biology lessons, but not like 100% deep. We're not going to like go crazy on him with all the biology stuff or like chemistry, because this guy is more like into this and that, and kind of finding. But that requires a personal approach.
Yeah, we have to analyze also what AI will help us to do.
Exactly.
How do you see the evolution of AI? Are
But
you scared
that's
about
what
it?
I'm not very scared of. I'm myself personally not, because I'm in the creative industry, and I think the AI will
Yeah, but I
will
mean,
have a hard time to catch up to
globally,
the
let's say.
globally. It's a problem. It's a mass problem of and don't get me wrong, might sound wrong, but I think population has to be controlled in general, because the thing is, my point of view on it, we control every 5 years how a car gets, the safety of a car. We have to go control emissions, because if the car is not working properly, it's unsafe. Humans are more unsafe than a car. So if we don't control, and especially what's going to happen in the near future, is that you see already Tesla ordered 1 million cars for driverless taxis. You see McDonald's right now with their automatic ordering responses and stuff. So that's just the beginning. We have in some countries robots delivering as like food delivery, and already just little cars like this driving around. And well, we're going to see automated drones soon. It's just a question of legislation, and as soon as the regulation for automated driving is going to pass through, we might not even see bus drivers, like the all the people truck drivers or anything like that. So all of those jobs, which are a huge percentage, are going to be gone. And even in Japan, some like restaurants. So what is going to happen? Is there a plan for those people? No, but so far there is a plan, and we are still we're increasing in population. So there is no plan to do with anything with this kind of people. When they go hungry, what is going to happen? They're going to go on the streets, and it's going to be a nightmare. So in 10, 15 years, I don't really see a bright future in general for the countries, because action on this requires a long-term plan.
We'll probably react. I think government will react. It'll be probably too late. Also,
like they did with COVID. So that's the thing. I don't think that the government right now are actually
they don't probably understanding the thing,
because because the systems are quite complex. And let's say in a democratic environment, the systems are quite complex. Like you have to go through all the steps to get it. In Switzerland, you also have like one canton might disagree, so it's really hard to get like a mutual agreement for everything. You have lots of people's opinions, so you have to kind of ask. In an autocratic environment, it's also bad, because you have one guy or two guys making wrong decisions. So I think the political systems in general have to change in some way. They have to evolve from not saying socialism or democracy. They have to be something else. I'm not like a politician to suggest what it has to be, but it has to be a new form of politics in order to then have certain problems be solved.
We can be scared, in fact, but I think the more AI evolves, I think the more we have to go back to the previous question, go back to humanity, and work on who we are, our values, how we interpret the situation. I think that's
but how would you do it?
Well, there's a lot of little keys.
I mean, to work on a person, you have to.
Well, you have to be interested in yourself first of all. I think you can evolve yourself with meditation. There's many things you can do.
It's very hard to evolve people past their 18. So it has to be starting with their childhood, because if they get a certain experience up to age, let's say 10, it's really gonna shape the way they see the world. It's really gonna shape them the way they're gonna be. So it has to be on a parental. So that's what I'm saying about controlling the population. I'm not saying controlling them killing them or something, not that. I mean controlling, so you should almost, and that's, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, okay, that's sounds very wrong or something, but I don't think having children should be a very just a free right. Okay, I'm going to make 10 kids right now. Well, you're going to make 10 kids that are then going to be causing maybe problems for the society in general, causing more problems. So you have to you have to get an authorization, let's say, from the government. Okay, I want to have I have a certain plan. I'm going to have him in this school. I'm going to have this education, this and that, but not just randomly make kids and then I'll decide what to do. And then, oh, sorry, the government, can you help me with because now I realize I actually don't have the money to support my child. And then and then we have to pay for the pension funds already broken. That was the biggest Ponzi scheme of the world.
Yeah.
What a Ponzi it's a Ponzi scheme because the new generation has to work to pay off the old one, the elder ones. So they still try to enforce this Ponzi scheme on people. They forbid other Ponzi schemes, but for some reason the pension fund they want to keep on having, and they're trying to find a solution to make it work.
We'll do a podcast about this. This is a huge topic.
Yeah, it's a huge topic, but
anyways, Artemi, thank you so much for your time. All the information on the bottom of the podcast or video to see the website of your studio. Thank you for your time. Take care.
all right, thank you.